The closing bell at the New York Stock Exchange, the main index, down over 7%. Shock and panic evident on the faces of those on the trading floor. The plunge in share prices comes as another US bank had to be rescued. This time Wachovia was picked up by the federal authorities and immediately sold on to the world's biggest bank, Citigroup.
The Dow tumbled more than 500 points after two pillars of the street tumbled over the weekend. Lehman Brothers, a 158-year-old firm, filed for bankruptcy.
Just hours earlier, they'd watched open-mouthed as members of the House of Representatives voted down the $700 billion rescue plan.
You know, I own a business, and I sat in my business yesterday and nobody came in. So I'm worried. I am worried.
I never once considered that it was appropriate to put taxpayer money on the line in resolving Lehman Brothers.
So in just 6 months, 3 of the 5 biggest independent firms on Wall Street have now disappeared. Bear Stearns, which collapsed last spring, Lehman Brothers, and Merrill Lynch.
We are at, about 11,383. The last time we closed below 400, Teddy, it was 2008. And remind us about that bleak time in 2008.
There are a lot of rumors and things that aren't true about Bitcoin out on the internet, especially in the mainstream media, that seems to try to scare people away from Bitcoin. And I'm going to make some videos that just explain just easy aspects of it, no technical mumbo jumbo. That just scares people away. One of the things I think a lot of people think is like, oh, well, it went up to 1,000, now it's 250, it's over with. And, you know, there are a lot of people that have it, I can't get in now. You know what? There are very few people in the world who have it, actually. And this is very early on in the Bitcoin revolution. If you remember back in the days of the internet, or most of you probably don't, but back in 1994, 1993, no one knew what the internet was. You'd go to the mainstream media, they'd be like, oh, it's a den of pornography. And it isn't. And there were just all these people trying to scare you away from the internet. Well, that's where Bitcoin is right now, in that stage where the mainstream media tries to scare you away. And do they do it on purpose? Who knows? They do it out of ignorance. So you can go to a site called Coinbase and just buy Bitcoin. And Bitcoin, right now, one Bitcoin costs $250, let's say. But you can get much less than a Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin. You can spend $5 worth of Bitcoin. Get some Bitcoin. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, I don't have any money. You do have money. And Americans do not save enough. Americans don't plan enough. This is a little investment you can make that the average Joe can make. This is not the complexity of investing in a mutual fund, or the complexity of investing in the stock market. This is just a simple little thing you can do that every man can get in on this. This is like getting in on an IPO. I want everyone out there to be able to guard their wealth in this way. If you're a big fan of the current system where, you know, EBT cards are just cool to have, you might as well turn this video off right now, because you're not into Bitcoin, trust me. Bitcoin is the opposite of the current EBT system that we live in. Buy a Bitcoin now, and who knows what's going to happen in the future, and we're going to talk about that next.